8 workshops. I'll display them, inshallah, and you'll see all the topics, which are again 8, and hopefully, and we'll start today with the writing concisely and avoiding redundancy. Inshallah, next week we'll have grammar and writing techniques in academic writing. The third week we'll have pre-writing strategies. Week 4 we'll have writing and action research. After week 4 we'll have the mid-semester break, and then week 5 we'll resume with writing theoretical framework for research papers. Then we'll have Ramadan and Eid break. After the Eid break we'll have week 6 creative writing workshop. Week 7 we'll have words and phrases to avoid in academic writing. And the last week, which is week 8, we'll have MLA citation techniques. As you can see then, today's workshop is going to be presented by Dr. Summaya Wahab Elhussain about writing concisely and avoiding redundancy. All of you, I'm sure you know Dr. Summaya very well. Dr. Summaya Wahab Elhussain is a writing specialist and instructor at the English Language Institute. She is a language instructor and Cambridge certified teacher, trainer, and a member of the curriculum and test development section or department. She has a postgraduate certificate, a Trinity certificate, and an MA in TESOL. She also has the University of Harvard certificate in differentiated language instruction and inclusiveness in learning. Additionally, she was awarded various professional certificates in language teaching and further education teaching from highly reputed and recognized UK institutions. Dr. Summaya is equally empowered with advanced understanding in standardized and highly ethical language techniques and facilitation of students' learning. As a PhD candidate with a focus on academic writing, she aspires to empower her students with the essential skills in this spectrum. Previously, at the Academic Writing Center, she presented on vocabulary for academic writing, writing concisely and avoiding wordiness, writing an effective argument for research for graduate students, tips for teaching academic writing for beginners, for difficulty members, common challenges in academic writing, techniques or teaching techniques in large classes for difficulty members, sentence patterns in academic writing. And today, inshallah, you'll enjoy a very nice workshop with her about writing concisely and avoiding redundancy. The floor is yours, Dr. Summaya. Thank you, everybody, for coming and for your active participation, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this nice introduction, Dr. Kamal. Okay, and thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And again, I'd like to express my thanks to my good colleague, Todd, for helping out with this technical thing. Yes, so what I intend to cover for tonight, or we cover for tonight, I would like to start with a small little task, and then we're going to move on to look at the factors that contributes to the cause of redundancy in the students' writing, and then we're going to look at the words that can affect the categories, the types and categories of words that can affect conciseness in students' writing. And also, we're going to look at I'm going to suggest some methods to eliminate wordiness in academic writing and redundancy. And of course, we're going to, do some works together through this task. And of course, as my good audience, you're going to get engaged in all that. So hopefully we're going to have fun, and we're going to, find some ideas good enough to take away. Okay, so I'd like to start with this small task. If you can make this sentence with this sentence that has 22 words in it, if we can make it more concise and shorter. suggestions. I'm keeping an eye on the chat box. Okay. I mean, can we rewrite this? Okay. Can we rewrite this sentence to just make it shorter without losing the meaning of it? Be concise, yes. I mean, can we write the whole sentence, rewrite it in a different way, not in a different way, but shorter without losing the meaning? Okay, so my goal is to cut down on the number of words. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We remove unnecessary words. Okay, so that's my suggestion. I'll just show you my suggestion. What is it? What is it? Why isn't it coming up? Okay, so that's my suggestion. I've rewritten the same sentence without losing the actual meaning of the sentence, but cutting down on the number of words to make it more concise and get rid of the words that are, make it sound wordy, make it look wordy. So because many, okay, so my initial one was because a great many words in this sentence are unnecessary. Yeah. It would really be a good idea to edit it for conciseness. My suggestion to make it more modified and look better and look more concise, because many words in this sentence are unnecessary. We should edit it, or it should be edited, or something like that. Yeah. So what I have done, I have cut down on the number of words. I've looked at the actual meaning of the sentence. I've not lost the actual meaning of the sentence, but I've thought about it and I've reconsidered um, eliminating some words that would make it look wordy and and may distract the audience or the reader. Yeah, and that is the idea behind the whole thing, actually, behind tonight's workshop. Trying to cut down on the number of words and make our writing less wordy and more concise and precise. Okay, so yeah, so why redundancy is a problem in academic writing or in writing in general? Um, it extends extends written works without improving it. So by adding more and more words, we're not doing the text any good. We are actually extending the text. Yeah. Yes. Yes, to reduce the number of words. Yes. Reduce the number of words, that's what I meant. So it will make the text long, but because of the repetition of words and because of using many words, the actual focus of the ideas we might get affected and might get lost. So it doesn't improve the text by adding more words and actually not genuine ideas and original ideas. By adding words, we're not doing the text any good. Actually, we're just extending it and not improving it. Another problem that redundancy can cause to academic writing or any piece of writing is that it can cause the loss of focus. So if I just keep going round and round, repeating words, repeating ideas, I am not actually helping the audience. I'm not helping the readers at all, and I'm actually causing my audience to lose focus of the ideas, of my ideas, of what I mean to say. So the original material, the original actual core of my writing might get affected. The audience find it hard to follow my ideas because if I keep repeating the words, and if I don't write my ideas straightforward in a precise, concise way, then my audience might find it really difficult to follow my ideas. Because they will be distracted by the number of words and thinking about these words and structure of sentences and repetition of words, and instead of focusing on the actual ideas that need to be communicated. Contribution of new ideas to the text get affected. So instead of writing new ideas, I'll keep repeating the same ideas over and over again, using different words, using different sentence structures, but the actual ideas, there is no room for new ideas to be expressed and communicated and added to the text. And also, let's not forget about the conventions of academic, the established conventions of academic writing. I mean, academic writing has certain ways and structures and rules and values to follow. So, if we tend to have redundancy and wordiness in our writing, then that's not sticking to the rules of academic writing, because academic writing has to be concise, it has to be precise, it has certain structures to be followed. Yeah. So obviously, this list is not exhaustive, and I welcome any suggestion of why do you think redundancy can be a problem in any writing. Can we add to this list? What problems does redundancy cause in any writing? Yeah. That's right. It can make meaning unclear. Yes. Can make meaning vague and unclear. It can cause audience to our readers to be confused. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. And it can make writing boring, yes, because the reader cannot find like actual things to follow. The reader finds it difficult to follow their ideas, and then just moving from one part to another, it becomes unreadable. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it can cause vagueness, frustrating to read wordy content. True, very true. Yes, very true. Yes, yeah. It is, because obviously the reader gets lost among ideas, among repeated ideas, repeated words and wordiness. And so the actual idea, the reader finds it difficult to actually find and follow and focus on the actual ideas that are being communicated. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, and I guess that is the whole thing about it. The whole thing about it is, the ideas um, are clearly communicated and precisely and concisely communicated, so that and there is always room for more ideas to be expressed and added to the text. Okay, so why do we tend to have redundancy in our writing? That's another thing. I mean, why do students or writers, some writers, many writers, and probably including myself, why do we have redundancy in our writing? Obviously, we have a desire to be emphatic. We want to stress our presence as writers. We want to show our voice as writers, and we think by using more and more words, we sort of impress our readers. So I think we fall under a misconception of thinking that by using more and more words, we're impressing our readers and our writing becomes more interesting, etc. So, and we have a desire to be emphatic and stress our voice. Another thing is unawareness. Sometimes we are not aware of our practice in writing and our action using a lot of words. We are not actually aware of what we are doing. Also, sometimes there's an interference from the writer's native language sometimes, because I mean, translation, that's right. Translation can be a big problem. A big problem, because obviously, if we think of our own students, they tend to, most of them, I cannot say all of them, but most of them tend to think in their native language and then tend to translate that into English, and that might cause them to sort of repeat words and repeat ideas and cause vagueness in the writing. So we find it really hard to follow the writing. That's right. That's right. So translation and interference from first language, because obviously they think, and we cannot stop that. That is something that happens in the cognition unless they get enough and sufficient and adequate training to sort of think originally in English and just write in English and organize the writing and ideas in English, structure in English. I guess if they don't get trained to be able to do all that, it's really difficult because it is something that's intangible and it happens in the students' cognition. But there have to be sufficient instruction on that, and also, of course, wordiness using a lot of words. Instead of cutting down on words can cause redundancy, repetition of ideas. Something like due to the fact that can just be changed by because of, simply by cutting down on the number of words. And lack of instruction. Lack of instruction is a big thing, because sometimes I think as teachers and language instructors, we just assume that students know something, but academic writing is not part of their tacit knowledge. They have to be instructed. They have to be taught how to write in a particular structured way. So learning of academic writing and the rules of academic writing learning of that does not just happen intuitively. Students have to be overtly structured. They have to get teaching and instructions on that. So lack of instruction is something that is big, and it has to be given. I think this is some areas of academic writing have to be given focus, especially areas where there are like obvious problems, like redundancy in writing. If you can think of more causes, you are most welcome to write that in the chat box. What are the contributors of redundancy in the students' writing? Any more suggestions? Okay. Not being aware of writing process, for example, no planning, yeah, because obviously writing is a process. Yeah. Yes, editing is another thing. Yes, lack of editing. Yes, proofreading is something that's important. Proofreading, yes. Proofreading skills, yes. So proofreading or editing is a vital, important skill in academic writing, and students have to be trained because obviously, and I do tell my students this, sometimes we have a lot of ideas to write about, and we have information, and so we get carried away expressing ourselves in writing, and we forget about the structure and the language. So proofreading will sort of help our students and will help us. And even expert writers do that. Expert writers themselves have to proofread the writing. Yes, lack of vocabulary. That's another thing. That's true. Very true. Yes. That's right. That's true. Yes. And I keep telling them writing is not like writing is different from speaking. So you cannot use words like today I'm going to write about this and this and that. You just start writing. You start by your thesis statement. That's how you started. And of course the word count. And we ourselves have been there one day. There is a word count. And we are required to meet that word count. So we think by adding more words, we're doing good to our text, while we are not doing any good to our texts. Actually, we are sort of affecting our text in a negative way, and we're sort of creating vagueness and confusion to the readers. That's right. Word count is another thing. That's right. Yes. Yeah. It will cause them to panic, definitely. And so they will be adding phrases, expressions that, they just think like these expressions and phrases will help them meeting the required word count. But of course, it is doing a lot of damage to the text, definitely. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, so what kind of words that can cause redundancy? Again, I'm going to suggest some types of words that can cause redundancy in the students' texts. But of course, you may have extra ideas to add to this. Dead words. Dead words, they take up space, but they do not do any good to the text. They don't add anything to the meaning, to the original meaning of the text. Example of that is, I believe that not good enough attention is given to the environmental problems. I believe that not enough attention is given to the environmental problems. And I modified it by saying environmental problems need more attention. So we can cut down on the number of words. Words like I believe that and not enough. And instead of using the negative form of, of the structure, yeah. Uh, Okay. Yeah, that is wordy. That is definitely wordy, yes. So yeah, it can be modified. It can be modified. So Turk is writing now. This course will help us due to this semester. Yeah, I don't know if it's a sentence that needs to be modified or it's a question because there's a Q in front of it. But yes, my wordy sentence, I modified it into environmental problems need more attention. Probably you'll have your own ways to modify the wordy sentence. I believe that not enough attention is given to the environmental problems. Yeah, probably you can think of a different way to cut down on the number of words. Dead words like I believe that, and dead words like I believe that, unless the writer intends to express an opinion or something. But I believe that is taking up space and not adding anything to the meaning. Yeah, and words like enough. Yeah, the words like enough is also taking up space. Okay, so that's an example of dead words. And fillers. Fillers like words with imprecise meaning. And we tend to use that a lot, actually, because we have a tendency to try to impress, our listeners and our readers. Factors and contributors is, I think, more precise, but aspects. When people say aspect, I find myself distracted. I don't know why, but the word aspects does something to the meaning of the sentence. It doesn't add a lot. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have like a precise meaning to convey. Instead of saying aspects, probably we should name these aspects, or factors. Probably we should name these factors, or contributors. We should name them. Actually, we should give them names. Actually, so sort of. Say exactly what they are actually, instead of saying aspects and factors, right? Because this will cause vagueness. It is just wordiness, and it will make the meaning unclear, I think. Yeah. Also, the use of adjectives like crucial. I like the word crucial and vital. Again, we want to impress, definitely, and we want to sound important, and what we have written is important, and our ideas are important. Yes, I understand. And let's also remember that some, as writers, we shouldn't use adjectives a lot in our writing unless it is descriptive of something, because of bias. We don't want to show where we stand as writers. Yeah. So adjectives are, they always show a bias. Actually, if I say something is vital, then that is siding. That is, as a writer, I shouldn't be, I shouldn't I shouldn't show bias actually. And also use of adverbs like basically and quiet, those and really, those adverbs. They take up space in our writing, but they don't add any value to the writing. Yeah. So these, we call them utility words because they're fillers, and they're just fillers. They take up space and they don't add to the meaning of the actual text. Um, I don't know how to say this word, but circumlocution. I've been trying to practice it. It is, it's a way of, yes, it's like using a roundabout way of saying something. So it's like beating around the bush instead of saying something straightforward, going in circles around the idea instead of sort of stating it in a precise, straightforward, direct way. An example of that, it is not unlikely that the virus can spread, can be modified into the virus can probably spread, or going along with the proposal was considered again, following the proposal was reconsidered. Yeah, I think if we, by just, giving ourselves some time and some little short time of thinking about what we write and thinking about our sentences, I think you can always modify our sentences and make them more precise and concise, I think. Yeah, but sometimes we're just too busy with the ideas and too busy trying to meet the word count and too busy structuring our paragraphs so that we don't pay attention to those little small, I mean, to redundancy and the way it can affect negatively our writing. Word phrases, sometimes they're longer than necessary due to the fact that can be replaced by because of. Having the ability to can be replaced by be able to or can. And at the present time can be replaced by now or currently. And sometimes stating the obvious, like the data analysis section analyzes both the quantitative and qualitative data. So yeah, we all know what the data analysis section does, and so we do not need the word analysis here. Yeah, so sometimes yeah, I mean, it's just it's a pitfall that we all fall into unknowingly sometimes or unconsciously sometimes. So yeah, this can be, just taking up space without adding real value to the without adding real value and more genuine ideas and original ideas to the text. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going too fast, but of course, this task, what words can we leave out without changing the sentence meaning? Again, I welcome your contributions. Okay. Of course, yes. Thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Sulaiman, thank you so much. The path narrowed in width. Yeah. We don't need. Do we need in width? Yes. Yes. Thank you, Jinam. Yes. Thank you. Suggestions for number two? Yes, we can remove that, right? Because if somebody nods, then we know how people nod, yeah? Okay. Yes, in color, I agree, Reem. Okay. Yeah, it can just be paler shades, right? Sorry, it can be um, from a deep purple. Yeah. We can just have the sentence ending at had gone. Yeah, I think. Instead of giving details of the colors, etc. Because intuitively we know what color the bruises can be, I think. Okay, still have more. Yes, I agree. Okay, any more suggestions? Past. Okay, thank you, Janan. Any suggestions for number 5? Yeah, yes, yeah. Once we have obstacles, then the meaning is clear. And I've also thought about the progress and development. Yeah. I thought the progress of the world economy could be written as the progress of the world economy has run into many obstacles. That's how I thought about it. Yeah. Okay. So what we did actually, we looked at what we did actually in this particular task. We looked at the actual meaning that the sentence conveys, and we sort of tried to cut down on words or take out the words that are there doing nothing. They're not adding any value to the meaning. They're not serving the meaning of the sentence in any good way. Yes, or the words that can mean exactly the same, like progress and development. So I mean, in this particular case, then we can get rid of one word and keep the other because we don't need two words meaning exactly the same thing. It makes our writing sound wordy, and of course, it defeats the purpose. Okay, so some hacks and ideas, some suggestions on how to avoid redundancy in writing. Of course, elimination of the use of fillers. Experts commonly believe that virus mutation is caused by wide rejection of vaccination. So commonly, I don't think we need it here. And of course, repetition like progress and development, like hilariously funny. I've got the word funny already. So, and of course, like basic fundamentals. Both of them mean exactly the same thing. The past history, evolve over time, and in the year 2020. So if I feel that the word is just repeating the meaning itself, then I don't need it. I'll have to take it out. Redundancy of or repetition of information, like solar energy. Usage of solar energy can have positive impacts on the environment. For instance, if we utilize solar energy, we can stop damaging the environment in many ways. So I mean, the second sentence is saying exactly what the first sentence has said. So I don't need to repeat the same information over and over again using different words, or rearranging my words in different ways in the sentence. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is just all down to proofreading. If I think sometimes when we proofread, we can feel that we have repeated the information, we have repeated words, we don't need all that. So we sort of try and eliminate it to keep the actual meaning of the text. And another way of sort of cutting down on redundancy and helping ourselves become more better writers actually is seeking consultation from experts like academic writing centers. I think many institutions around the world now, especially in higher education, will have academic writing centers, definitely. Um, um, and reading out loud can make repetitions obvious. So sometimes we write something, and if we read it to yourself, it just doesn't sound right. And then we look for the areas where the problems are, and then probably we can help ourselves. So that actually, personally speaking, that is one of the ways that I use myself. Remedial writing courses, courses to help the students improve the writing or probably as teachers we can have some kind of supplementary materials to sort of because we walk into classrooms and we know our students and we know their areas of weakness, especially when it comes to writing. Of course, it will require some kind of initial analysis of their own weaknesses in writing. But I think as teachers, we can meet our students' learning needs when it comes to writing. Proofreading, like some kind of software can help us. Grammarly is one of them, or applications that can flag up the parts of your writing you need to consider. Yeah, I mean, I think technology is there for us to use, and it is there to help us, especially when it comes to writing in particular. And of course, proofreading. Proofreading is something that's important. I think proofreading is something that we can all train our students to do in classrooms so that they are aware that the writing, because sometimes they have a lot of confidence and trust in what they write and they think like it is impressive and it's good enough to get a good mark, but when when the writing gets graded, then they get like shocked by the grades. They will always turn around and say, I've done this and I've done that. But if we train them in proofreading, they will know that writing will always have mistakes, and even expert writers use this technique to improve the writing. And of course, it shouldn't affect their confidence at all. We can cut down on the usage of the following, like, for example, nominalization, which is turning the verbs into nouns. Example of that is, I must make some corrections to my assignment mistakes. Can be modified. I must correct my assignment mistakes. Yeah, I mean, the second one is more, I feel it's more concise and more precise and has a fewer number of words. The verb to be. Her expectation is to be a lawyer. We can be more concise and we can say she expects to become a lawyer. Yeah. So I have eliminated the verb to be. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is just being unaware of the cause of ambiguity in our writing. And it sounds okay. Her expectation is to be a lawyer. Sounds all right, but it can be better. Can be more concise, can be more straightforward, can be more direct. Elimination of dummy subjects like it and there. There is a good chance global warming will increase in the next 10 years versus global warming is likely to increase in the next 10 years. Yeah, so there is a good chance. We don't need that. That makes it sound wordy and it's not adding anything to the value, to the idea of the sentence. Meaningless words and phrases like imprecise words, like words like factors and contributors and issues, and so we just name the things. Yeah, that's right. That's true. Yes, and it's very straightforward. That's what I meant. It's very straightforward, and it's more precise and more concise, and it gives the meaning straight away. Words like kind of and widely discussed. We don't need widely due to the fact that, and highly acceptable. Yeah, highly. And in order to determine, we can just replace it by to determine, can't we? I think we can. So yeah, I think we just want to sort of sound more academic, and so using these like fancy words, I think, yeah. So and that is actually one of the contributors, if I can say, to that can cause redundancy in our writing. Yeah. So yeah, cutting down on that will help us be more precise. Redundant pairs like they are back-to-back words, that they are sometimes back-to-back words that mean the same thing. They don't add anything to the meaning that is required to convey. like the final outcome and each individual. Yeah. If I say the outcome, that means it's something that's finalized. And if I say individuals, I mean each and every one. And if I say crisis, instead of saying sudden crisis, if I say crisis, I mean that it is something that was not expected. It's a crisis because it wasn't expected, so it happened suddenly. And if I say the final verdict, if I say the verdict, I mean that it is something that has been discussed and finalized and completely finished. I don't need completely here. Yeah. So yeah, these are redundant pairs. Of course, I think in speaking we are allowed, because in speaking we want to impress and we want to sound academic, and we want obviously we want our audience to have a good feeling about what we want to say, and it makes it easy for people to follow us when we speak. But in writing, it's an entirely different story, I think. Okay, so there is this final task, task 3. We try to make this paragraph sound or rewritten in a more concise way. Yeah, can we do that? Which words to take out, which words to keep? Okay, any suggestions? Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Sulaiman, if an organization breaches the privacy, our office may investigate it. Yeah, I agree to that. I agree. I agree with that. And third, remove an agency or organization. One of them mentioned this the second time. Yes, yes. Because, and yes, in the second sentence, it has been repeated, agency or organization, yes. And Jinan is typing. And I don't need, also, I don't need privacy in the second sentence because it has already been mentioned in the first sentence. Okay. Yes. Okay, individuals can also complain. Yeah, instead of make a complaint. Thank you so much. Yes, individuals can also complain. Yes, that's right. I agree with that. That's right. Do I need to say the privacy principles? Because privacy is, do I need to use the word principles? Maybe. Or privacy breaches privacy. If they're, that's right. I do not need to say if they think their information. I can just straight away say if their information is mishandled. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, I think that's a very nice way to put it. Yeah. Yes, that's very straightforward. That's very precise, actually. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I've got another paragraph. What is to keep? What is to take out? Okay, Jinan, aid agency brings immediate assistance to those devastated by natural disasters. Yeah, and conflict. Yes. Okay, that's right. So I don't need works to. Yeah, well, works to bring. Uh, yes. In the initial stages of the disaster. We provide emergency relief because because I have the word emergency, I do not need in the initial stages of the disaster because emergency means the urgency at the beginning. That's right. Thank you so much. Mr. Sulaiman, aid agency assists people whose lives have been devastated by natural disasters and conflict. Yes, I agree to that. Yes, yes. I think you guys have done a great job. Yeah. Okay, what about the second sentence? Okay. So, yes, the initial stages of the disaster can be eliminated without affecting the meaning of the sentence. Anything else to cut out? Yeah. Our work provides. That's right. Yes. Yes, I agree, Mr. Sulaiman. Yes. Our work provides emergency relief. Yes, I agree to that. Yes. Yes. Very, very concise. Yes. Actually, more precise. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Okay, so is there any difference in meaning between rebuild and rehabilitate? For a sustainable future, we can help the people, can help people. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we also continue our support. Okay, I agree to that. Continue our support. Yeah. I always think that using the passive will make it sound more academic. Yeah, continue our support. Yes, okay. Yeah, yeah. I agree to that. Yes. I think they're all great ideas. I think they can all provide precision and make the writing and make the meaning more precise and straightforward. Yes, I agree with you, Jinan. Okay, a sustainable future. I don't have a problem with the word sustainable, but yes, your suggestion is also, yeah, adequate actually. Yes, yeah. Yes, I guess they're all good ideas, and it's just all about cutting down on the number of words without affecting the meaning that needs to be communicated and being more precise and more concise, I think. Yeah. I think and then as teachers, I've come to the end of my topic, but as teachers, I think as teachers, um, I think we can train our students. I mean, it doesn't have to be like this advanced English. I'm talking about advanced topics when it comes to aid agency and organizations and privacy principles. But we can use simple topics and that can be relevant to the content of the books we teach. But we can still train our students, I think, on all these aspects, and just the idea of making them aware of the importance of being precise and concise in the writing. I think just raising awareness about not using too many words to say exactly the same thing, I think would be good enough at an initial stage of teaching, especially when it comes to level one and level two. But with more advanced levels, actually, I think we can actually train the students to be more precise. I actually and when I in my throughout my presentation I was using technical terms, obviously, because I assumed I was talking to my good colleagues, teachers of English. But I think in our teaching, we don't have to use technical terms like usage of fillers and usage of redundancy and these words. We can still train our students by providing like short tasks and small little tasks, writing tasks. We can train them to eliminate redundancy in the writing without being technical with the language we use inside the classroom. Yeah, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but that's my own perspective, and I hope these are my references, and I hope we have enjoyed, my good audience, and you have enjoyed that, and you have had some ideas to.
Okay,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much for your contributions.
Wonderful as always, Dr. Sumaya, mashallah. Any questions before we end the workshop? If you have any questions, you can write them in the chat box or you can use your mics. Otherwise, we can say again, many thanks, Dr. Sumaya, and really it was very enjoyable, informative, inspiring, interactive, useful, and invaluable, and it met our expectations. Really, we learned a lot and we enjoyed it again. And special thanks should go to all the participants who enriched the workshop through their fruitful interaction, mashallah, with the presenter. Inshallah, next week we'll have our second workshop about grammar and writing techniques in academic writing by Ms. Rabia Khan Khatoon, inshallah. Here is the evaluation form for those who are interested in the certificates. Thank you, everybody, and have a nice time. Thank you, Brother Ahmed. Just to remind you that all the workshops are recorded on our YouTube channel, so you can access them anytime. This workshop will be available on the YouTube channel within, inshallah, 24 hours. And here is the link, actually. Thank you, Jinan. Thank you, Dr. Dikra. Yes, Asrar, all of these workshops come from the English Language Institute, Academic Writing Center, and there are other centers actually, CPELT, for example, and you can find them on our YouTube channel. Even if you are interested in soft copies, you can email us and you can get the soft copy for any workshop.